Welcome to Freaks and Creaks, a Dawson's Creek podcast, the show where four millennials who missed the boat 25 years ago take the dive for the first time. Join us as we experience the series with a fresh perspective week to week and see if our adolescent experiences match up with Dawson and the gang. My name is Cody.
I'm Stella.
I'm Mallory.
And I am James. And before we get started with the episode, let's jump into some Capeside Correspondence.
Capeside Correspondence. Well, we just wanted to give a shout out to friend of the show, Heather, for her very sweet review on Apple Podcasts, where she stated, I didn't need to watch Dawson's Creek. I didn't especially want to watch Dawson's Creek. But now I look forward to watching an episode every dang week so I can tune in. Who have I become? Heather, I ask myself that question every single day as well. Also, James, I thought this would be fun for you to hear. So Heather is in town. She lives on the East Coast with her partner, but they're in town and we hung out with them last night. And she wanted to let us know that her and her partner have not stopped playing Super Auto Pets ever since you mentioned it. Yeah. Her partner, Pitt, was like, yeah, I played on the plane for 6 straight hours.
Fuck yeah, we got to play. I suck really bad, but I would love to get my ass beat by you guys. That sounds amazing. Thanks for picking up my recommendation. We talk about that in my work. I have one of my coworkers, and we talk about Super Auto Pets probably at least once a week. It's a great game. If you haven't picked it up yet, pick it up now.
Also, just want to do a general shout out to some friends who have reached out and said that they're listening, they're having a blast listening, and they just like are having a good time. And I love that we have friends that are listening with us and enjoying it. It makes me really happy and warms my heart, and I appreciate everyone's support.
Totally.
Thanks, friends.
Also, if you're not our friends and you're listening to us, holy cow.
Yeah.
We love you and thank you for the support.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Oh, okay, see ya. Never mind, fuck off.
Just kidding. We love you too. And in fact, you could be our friends if you'd like. You just have to find us on Facebook. That's the way to become official friends these days. Yeah. Send me a friend
What's
request.
Facebook?
Yeah, it's 2008 and send us an invite on Facebook.
Well, this week we are talking about Season 1, Episode 9, Road Trip, which is also known as In the Company of Men. This episode was released on March 17th, 1998, and a brief synopsis is Jen's old boyfriend takes Dawson and Pacey to a nightclub. Upon finding herself the subject of some nasty rumors, Joey strikes back. The episode was written by Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20 and directed by Stephen Robman. And this episode really has just about everything. It has some hilarious teenage antics. I loved everything that we got to see from Pacey and Dawson and Billy on the road. An action sequence, which I'm pretty sure was in a James Bond film when they hooked the anchor up to the truck and mooned him before driving away.
Classic Bond move.
Classic Bond move. Super awkward kissing. A fantasy that I think only Dawson and maybe Cody have had, where they just get to talk about how much they love movies with a woman who also just wants to talk about how much they love movies. And arguably the worst ending of any episode so far. The end of this episode sucks so bad. What did you guys think of this week's watch? How did it treat you all?
I had mixed feelings. Like, part of me thought it was kind of dull, but I thought there were some really awesome parts to it. I liked seeing like the different friendships kind of blossom. I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but just like, I don't know, we got to see them interact with their friendships more, and that was fun. And yeah, there were some highs and lows.
Definitely some highs and lows in this episode.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought on it. It was kind of like meh for the most part, but there were a lot of good friendship development moments. It was also nice to see Jen and Joey stand up for themselves in several different situations throughout the episode. And it was fun to hear some on-the-nose comments about Dawson's obsession with Spielberg.
Yes.
Finally.
Check yourself, Dawson.
And then we got bookended by Savage Garden. So that was great.
How did it treat you, Cody?
Yeah, there's some good and there's some bad. Like, I like that Dawson was challenged this episode and he actually grew and did something that he's not typically fond of doing, and doing action verbs, as Pacey would say. Also, I feel like this is the first time where I was actually paying attention a little bit more to the cinematography, and I thought it was shot really well.
Yeah.
Like, they were doing a lot of interesting things with the camera, and I really like that. Things I didn't like, the A story being about the boys getting laid, baby. It reminded me of Leonardo DiCaprio's Pussy Posse from the 90s with Tobey Maguire and David Blaine. Oh, everyone's looking at me like I'm
that a movie?
insane. No, that's a
Is this
real
like the
life
Rat
thing.
Pack?
Yes, like in the 90s. Leonardo DiCaprio self-proclaimed their friend group the Pussy Posse, and they would go to parties and do drugs and try to fuck as many people as possible.
What?
That's weird because that's what I call us.
I know. That was originally the podcast title, which is insane. Yeah, but it was like,
Wow.
But my favorite part about the Pussy Posse is Tobey Maguire's a part of it. I don't
my
know
gosh.
anything about him besides like what I know about him in like
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Yeah, so I just imagine like gentle Peter Parker being like, yeah, I'm trying to get some pussy.
They must have played poker together too, because I think he's a
Oh.
poker player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In that gambling movie, is that what makes you say that?
Well, the book,
Well-
the Molly's Game.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I believe Tobey Maguire was in that group.
Interesting.
So
I
funny.
read the book, but yeah, I think he was one of them.
Interesting.
So, and I think Leo also a poker player. So that's
But David Blaine was a part
interesting.
Yeah.
David
Yes.
Blaine. Oh yeah.
You're probably wondering what you're doing at this party. You don't know what's going to go on, but I'm going to make those panties disappear.
of it. Ew.
Watch
you
me
know-
stick this knife through my hand.
I love
Wow.
his delivery.
Do
It's
you
so
wanna
funny.
fuck now?
And yes, I do. But yeah, listeners, just Google Leonardo DiCaprio Pussy Party, and you are gonna have a different opinion about that man.
Yeah.
I also like you said, Mal. Like I really like Jen and Joey teaming up and like girl power, like
Yeah.
fuck these guys stuff. God damn it, they just had to pit them against each other again.
I
So,
know.
like,
Yeah.
that's
the
that.
end.
That was my biggest turnoff of this episode. Just besides the Pussy Posse stuff, was just like, why the fuck are we still putting these women against each other? Especially because in detention, it seemed like that kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was beginning to. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. The
Highs and
Well,
lows.
yeah. They've got to keep that little tension in there. So,
course.
Yeah.
I thought this episode, I agree with everything that y'all are saying. It was an episode that I didn't particularly enjoy for most of it. It was pretty boring for most of the episode. I felt like we have 29 scenes in our rundown for this episode, and I would say that's about 25 too many. There are so many scenes where it's just like, why is this here? Nothing happens. There's so much just filler space in this episode, and I feel like it's kind of an example of two half-baked plots that they just like mashed together. After the writers' room like got through storyboarding some things, they had two things where they're like, well, Joey's caught in a rumor about being pregnant, and Billy takes Dawson and Pacey on a guy's trip, and they couldn't build both of those out into full episodes. They're like, fuck it, these are close enough. Let's put them together.
Yeah. It felt like a spacer between, what's
Yeah.
happening with Dawson and Jen, and like
Yeah.
they probably will get back together. So what are we doing
yeah.
between that?
Yeah. I did enjoy moments of it, though. There were some really fun moments. I really liked the whole ferry sequence and the travel sequence from Capeside to Providence. I did like the high school drama with Jen and Joey. I thought that was fun. It was fun to get to see different sides and aspects of these characters, to your point, Stella. But yeah, it was an interesting episode. I walk away with such different feelings than recollecting it than I did watching it. But
Yeah, it was kind of like unforgettable. I mean, forgettable.
Yeah.
Forgettable.
No,
Sorry.
it's unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
I was like, I couldn't remember. Like, we watched it early on, like after we recorded the last one, and then
Yeah.
I didn't watch it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could not tell you what happened
Same.
in that
Yeah.
episode.
Same. We did. I had the same kind of experience where I watched it and wrote a bunch of notes on my watch, and then when we went to rewatch it somewhat recently, I was like, "What happens in this episode?" And then I looked at my notes. I'm like, "Oh, that's what happens in this episode, right?" It kind of went in my eyes and then out my
But
butt.
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, all these are valid criticisms, and I share that criticism too, because it's like it's pretty empty, but it's kind of what I like about this era of TV too. Like we've
Yeah.
said a million times, like they had a lot of time to fill. Like they so many episodes. I mean, yeah, this is only a 13 episode season, I think, but the later ones are like 24 episodes, and we're gonna get a lot of these where it's just like, all right, what's the premise for this one? Okay, let's talk about sex. Okay, how can we do
Yeah.
that for a little bit? Okay, it's stretched in, whatever. Bye. Okay, on to the next one, and this like it shows. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, easy breezy.
Beautiful cover girl. Well, shall we dive into this one?
Get into it.
Oh,
I am just particularly excited to hear about your vampire lore this episode because there were a couple instances where a certain character was rapping at a door to be allowed in and would not come in until they were given permission.
interesting.
And there are certain creatures of the night that have to be allowed in. So I don't know.
I'm interested to hear your takes on this because I'll be honest, I walked away with this one with just a few. That was actually one of my minuses on this episode is I didn't see that. I didn't feel like there was enough confirmation of my supernatural predilections. So maybe you will help turn the tides for me on this episode and it'll become one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, listeners, if this is your first episode, go back to episode 1 because we've been building on some lore that you've probably have never paid attention to.
Yeah.
That is extremely important.
It's like the man that's hiding in the bushes in the back of the dollar bill. You know, like, you don't know. Go pull out a dollar bill. Look on the back of it. There's a man hiding in the bushes. And there's a lot of stories about what he could be
I'm gonna
doing.
pull one out later and see.
Yeah, you'll see. And that's exactly what I'm getting at with Dawson's Creek. There are vampires hiding in the bushes of Capeside and other supernatural beings. And you just haven't paid attention until we have pulled the wool from your eyes. Mostly Mal and Stella, if I'm honest, they really drive this theory the most.
It's obnoxious. Stella will shake me in the middle of the night to be like, I just thought of something.
Vampires.
Very frightening. We open with an emotionally crushed Dawson grieving the loss of his relationship with Jen to the tune of Savage Gardens, truly, madly, deeply, spilling his guts to Joey that she has rejected everything that he believes represents him. Joey isn't having it and tries to switch gears to watch a movie. And when she turns the TV on, it automatically plays Dawson's footage from Jen from the now forgotten monster movie, making him even more sad.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this actually the footage from the opening
Yes,
Of
you are
the
correct.
credits of the
Dawson's
show?
Creek?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
So
love that detail.
third time we've seen that.
Yeah.
I hope they never stop reusing it.
Why is this what was in Dawson's VHS? I mean, I think we know why this was in
Well,
VHS in
because
his
he
VHS
was
player.
watching her. He's been watching her.
I don't think he's just been
I-
watching her, if you know what I'm.
Oh,
he's walking the dog,
yeah,
maybe.
maybe. I thought the intro shot was interesting. You know, we're seeing him framed, the window frame. Dawson's in the frame, and then Joey's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, in a way, it felt like we were like spying on them for it's the first like 35 seconds that we're actually seeing the frame. We're not in the room yet. So I thought that was
And
interesting.
the end too. It pulled. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
actually
well,
the
that
end
is
of
at the
the
very
episode.
end. Yeah. But it's like, and also you see Dawson spying in on Jen. It's like Dawson's watching Jen. So this is kind of almost what Jen would see if she were looking in, you know. So I thought that was an interesting setup for the scene.
And us as the audience, we are the ones that are spying on these characters.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good framing device.
I noticed, jumping ahead just a little bit in the scene, when Joey is sitting in the director's chair next to the bed, there's also Dawson's director's chair behind Joey. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
There's two director's chairs
My
in his
God.
room. One specifically
One
for
says his
Dawson
name.
over her left-hand shoulder, the TV's right-hand side, and then there's the chair that she is in. So now I don't know what that means, but it's got to mean something. Probably that vampires are real.
Yeah.
That is our first
Probably.
point of evidence.
I don't know if anyone else noticed the ET doll that is usually like, I think on his bed was on his computer maybe.
Well, he has a couple. So I think that there's sometimes, I think that was another one on his computer, and he picks it up for a second during when they're talking, like as if it's like comforting him. Did you notice?
I did not.
Oh, yeah. There's a second where he's like holding it.
Yeah, that's fun. But I didn't notice it on his bed, so I was like wondering if
Okay.
it was a because I
Maybe.
have noticed a couple, so I wasn't sure. But I feel like I want to start tracking the ET dolls.
Start tracking it, definitely.
By the end of the series, he's going to be a full character that's just walking around Capeside.
He's got like a bag of ET dolls.
It's like the log lady from Twin Peaks, but
Yeah.
there's ET man. He's just like, my ET has something to tell you.
He's got like one for different like scenarios. Like
Party ET.
I wonder if he has to when he masturbates to the Jen
Ew.
footage, I wonder if he turns the ET
Yeah.
away because
Don't
of the
look.
shame. Yeah.
You can't see this.
Elliot. No. Shh.
it's like his own elf on a shelf.
Oh.
Oh, baby.
Also, the fact that he wants to watch Sid and Nancy,
Yes.
which is interesting.